The following content is sensitive and intended for mature audiences only. For within the annals of human history there exist creatures, driven not by the primal instincts of survival, but by a darkness that defies comprehension. They are predators, stalking their prey with chilling calculation, leaving behind a trail of devastation that scars the very soul of humanity. In this video, we delve into the minds and methods of some of the most notorious serial killers in history, focusing on the forensic and investigative techniques that brought them to justice. Like trackers following the subtle signs left by nocturnal hunters, we will examine the gruesome evidence, the silent witnesses that whisper tales of unimaginable horror. Prepare yourself, for this is not a journey for the faint of heart. We are about to descend into the abyss, to confront the monsters that lurk in the shadows, and to understand the science that dragged them into the light. Our journey begins with Theodore Robert Bundy, a man whose name has become synonymous with calculated charm and chilling brutality. Active throughout the 1970s, Bundy lured his victims with a veneer of normalcy, often feigning injury or impersonating authority figures to gain their trust. His preferred prey? Young women, often college students, who resembled a lost love from his past. Bundy's crimes were marked by a chilling level of organization and premeditation. He would often revisit his victims' remains, engaging in acts of necrophilia, a gruesome testament to his depravity. The crime scenes themselves were often chaotic, littered with evidence that pointed to a frenzied attack. However, amidst the chaos, investigators began to notice patterns, subtle clues that linked seemingly disparate cases. Bundy, it seemed, was meticulous in his disposal of evidence, but even the most careful predator leaves tracks. One of the most crucial pieces of evidence emerged from a particularly brutal attack in which Bundy bit his victim. This bite mark, left like a signature on the victim's flesh, became a crucial piece of the puzzle. Forensic odontologists, specialists in the analysis of bite marks, were brought in to examine the wound. Through painstaking comparison with Bundy's dental records, experts were able to establish a match, linking him definitively to the attack. This groundbreaking use of bite mark analysis marked a turning point in the investigation, providing prosecutors with a powerful piece of physical evidence. Bundy's trial became a media sensation, his handsome features and seemingly normal demeanor captivating the nation. However, the facade crumbled as the full extent of his crimes was revealed. Witnesses testified to his chilling lack of remorse, his cold, calculating nature exposed for the world to see. The impact of Bundy's crimes on the American psyche was profound. He shattered the illusion of safety, proving that monsters could lurk beneath the most unassuming exteriors. The use of forensic science, particularly bite mark analysis, in his capture ushered in a new era of criminal investigation, proving that even the most meticulous predator could be brought to justice. From the calculated brutality of Bundy, we journey deeper into the heart of darkness, into the macabre world of Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer. Dahmer's crimes shocked the world, not only for their gruesome nature, but also for the unsettling glimpse they provided into the mind of a killer driven by an insatiable hunger. Unlike Bundy, who sought to control and manipulate his victims, Dahmer's desires were rooted in possession, in a twisted longing to create his own macabre collection. He would lure young men, often transients or gay men of color, back to his apartment with promises of money or companionship. There, within the confines of his Milwaukee apartment, Dahmer's fantasies turned into horrifying realities. His victims were drugged, tortured, and murdered, their bodies subjected to unspeakable acts of mutilation and dismemberment. Dahmer's apartment became a charnel house, a testament to his gruesome obsession. The stench of decay permeated the building, raising the suspicions of neighbors. However, Dahmer, cunning and manipulative, managed to deflect their concerns. It was only when one of his intended victims managed to escape and alert the authorities that the true horror of Dahmer's crimes was revealed. Upon entering Dahmer's apartment, police officers were confronted with a scene of unimaginable horror. Body parts were strewn about, preserved in jars or stored in a refrigerator. Photographs of his victims, posed in various stages of dismemberment, lined the walls, a chilling testament to Dahmer's depravity. The sheer volume of evidence presented investigators with a monumental task. However, amidst the chaos, they meticulously collected and cataloged every piece of evidence, from the tools used in Dahmer's crimes to the Polaroid photographs that documented his descent into madness. DNA analysis, still in its infancy at the time, played a crucial role in identifying Dahmer's victims. By comparing DNA extracted from the remains found in his apartment with samples provided by the families of missing persons, investigators were able to piece together the identities of those who had vanished into the maw of Dahmer's madness. Dahmer's trial, like Bundy's, captivated the nation. However, unlike Bundy, who maintained a facade of sanity, Dahmer appeared detached, almost emotionless, as the gruesome details of his crimes were revealed. He was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and schizotypal personality disorder, but ultimately deemed sane enough to stand trial. The case of Jeffrey Dahmer sent shockwaves through society, highlighting the vulnerabilities of marginalized communities and the often overlooked signs of predatory behavior. It also underscored the importance of forensic science, particularly DNA analysis, in solving complex crimes and bringing justice to victims and their families. Our journey into the abyss of human cruelty continues, leading us to the seemingly ordinary world of John Wayne Gacy, a man who hid his monstrous nature behind a facade of normalcy. Gacy, known by many as Pogo the Clown for his charitable appearances at children's hospitals, was, in reality, a predator of the most insidious kind. He preyed on young boys and men, often luring them to his home with promises of work or money. There, beneath the veneer of respectability, Gacy committed acts of unspeakable cruelty, torturing and murdering his victims before burying their remains in a makeshift crawl space beneath his house. Gacy's crimes, spanning from 1972 to 1978, remained hidden in plain sight for years. He was a pillar of his community, active in local politics, and well-liked by his neighbors. This carefully constructed facade of normalcy made his crimes all the more shocking when they were finally brought to light. The unraveling of Gacy's web of deceit began with the disappearance of a young man named Robert Piest. Piest, last seen at a pharmacy where Gacy had been working, vanished without a trace. However, unlike Gacy's previous victims, Piest came from a family with the resources and determination to demand answers. Their relentless pursuit of the truth led investigators to Gacy's doorstep. A search warrant was obtained, and the horrifying truth began to emerge. The stench of decay, overwhelming and undeniable, permeated the air, leading police to the crawlspace beneath Gacy's home. There, buried in the damp earth, lay the remains of 29 young men and boys. The discovery sent shockwaves through America, shattering the image of the friendly clown and exposing the monster lurking beneath. The sheer number of victims, their bodies crammed into the crawlspace, painted a horrifying picture of Gacy's insatiable bloodlust. Identifying the victims proved to be a monumental task. Many of the bodies were decomposed beyond recognition, requiring the expertise of forensic anthropologists and odontologists. Dental records, meticulously compared to the remains, played a crucial role in putting names to the faces of the forgotten. Gacy's trial was a media circus, the nation transfixed by the horrifying details of his crimes. He was convicted of 33 murders, making him one of the most prolific serial killers in American history. Gacy, throughout his trial and subsequent imprisonment, remained defiant, claiming his innocence and showing little remorse for his actions. The case of John Wayne Gacy left an indelible mark on the American psyche, a chilling reminder that monsters can lurk beneath the most unassuming exteriors. It also highlighted the crucial role of forensic science, particularly dental records, in identifying victims and bringing closure to grieving families. Our exploration of the darkest corners of the human psyche takes us now to the highways of Florida, where Aileen Wuornos, known as the Highway Huntress, preyed on unsuspecting men. Wuornos's story is one of hardship, abuse, and a descent into violence that culminated in a series of killings that shocked the nation. Wuornos's life was marked by trauma from an early age. Abandoned by her parents, she endured a childhood of neglect and abuse. She turned to prostitution at a young age, her body becoming both a source of income and a target for exploitation. It was against this backdrop of hardship and violence that Wuornos's murderous rampage began. Between 1989 and 1990, Wuornos shot and killed 7 men along Florida's highways. Her victims, all middle-aged men, were shot at close range, their bodies robbed and left to rot on the side of the road. Wuornos claimed self-defense, alleging that her victims had raped or attempted to rape her. Her claims, however, were met with skepticism by law enforcement. The brutality of the killings, the fact that her victims were shot multiple times and robbed, pointed to something more than just self-defense. Investigators suspected that Wuornos was driven by rage, a desire for revenge against the men who had exploited and abused her throughout her life. The investigation into Wuornos's crimes was hampered by the transient nature of her victims and her own nomadic lifestyle. However, a crucial break came when witnesses came forward, linking Wuornos to several of the murders. Her modus operandi, using a small-caliber handgun and robbing her victims, helped to connect the seemingly disparate crimes. Ballistics analysis played a crucial role in linking Wuornos to the murders. Shell casings recovered from the crime scenes were matched to a gun that Wuornos had pawned, providing concrete evidence of her involvement. Faced with mounting evidence, Wuornos confessed to the killings, but maintained that she had acted in self-defense. Her trial, like those of Bundy, Dahmer, and Gacy, became a media sensation. However, unlike her male counterparts, Wuornos's case sparked a debate about the role of gender in perceptions of violence. Was she a cold-blooded killer, or a victim of circumstance driven to violence by a lifetime of abuse and exploitation? The jury ultimately rejected Wuornos's claims of self-defense, finding her guilty of 6 of the 7 murders and sentencing her to death. She was executed by lethal injection in 2002, her case becoming a lightning rod for discussions about capital punishment, gender, and the criminal justice system. Our final descent into the depths of human depravity brings us face to face with Richard Ramirez, a name that terrorized Los Angeles in the mid-1980s. Known as the Night Stalker, Ramirez brought fear and chaos to the sun-drenched streets of California, his crimes marked by a chilling blend of randomness and brutality. Unlike the other killers we've encountered, Ramirez did not fit a neat profile. His victims ranged in age, gender, and ethnicity. His methods were equally varied, encompassing a horrifying array of violence, including shootings, stabbings, beatings, and sexual assault. Ramirez's reign of terror began in 1984 and continued for over a year, his crimes escalating in brutality with each passing attack. He would invade homes in the dead of night, his victims often awakened by the sight of the intruder standing over their beds, his eyes gleaming with malice. The randomness of his attacks, the sheer unpredictability of his victims and methods, plunged Los Angeles into a state of panic. Fear gripped the city, the Night Stalker becoming a bogeyman, a shadowy figure lurking in the darkness, waiting to strike. The investigation into Ramirez's crimes was one of the largest and most complex in Los Angeles history. With each new attack, the pressure mounted on law enforcement to catch the elusive killer. Ramirez, however, seemed to revel in the chaos he created, leaving behind a trail of terror and uncertainty. A crucial break in the case came when Ramirez, emboldened by his success, began to leave clues at the crime scenes. Satanic symbols were scrawled on the walls, a chilling testament to his twisted ideology. These symbols, coupled with eyewitness accounts of Ramirez's distinctive appearance, began to paint a clearer picture of the killer. Fingerprint analysis played a pivotal role in finally bringing Ramirez to justice. A fingerprint lifted from a stolen car was matched to Ramirez's prints on file from a previous arrest. His face, plastered on wanted posters across the city, became a symbol of fear and revulsion. The net closed in on Ramirez on August 31, 1985, when he was apprehended by a group of East Los Angeles residents who recognized him from his wanted poster. His capture sparked celebrations and a collective sigh of relief across the city. The reign of the Night Stalker was finally over. Ramirez's trial, like those of the other killers we've examined, captivated the nation. He reveled in the attention, his courtroom antics and defiant demeanor further solidifying his image as a symbol of evil. He was convicted on 43 counts, including murder, attempted murder, burglary, and rape, and sentenced to death. Richard Ramirez's reign of terror left an indelible mark on Los Angeles, a chilling reminder of the capacity for evil that exists within humanity. His case, like the others we've explored, underscores the importance of forensic science, particularly fingerprint analysis, in identifying and apprehending even the most elusive of predators. Our journey into the heart of darkness has come to an end, but the echoes of these crimes continue to resonate. The killers we've examined, Bundy, Dahmer, Gacy, Warnos, and Ramirez, represent the darkest aspects of humanity, their actions a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the ever-present potential for evil. Yet, amidst the horror, there is hope. The tireless work of investigators, forensic scientists, and everyday citizens, driven by a desire for justice and a refusal to let evil triumph, brought these predators to justice. Their stories serve as a testament to the power of human resilience and the unwavering pursuit of truth. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth looks into the world of forensic science and criminal investigations. Stay safe and vigilant.